circumstances and the reason for why the message is being delivered the way it is being delivered. It has nothing to do with whether the spirit is a novice at it or not.
And are we able to affect other people's vibration? For example, if a loved one is struggling with negative self-worth, can we manifest for them?
No. You can send off a vibration that can encourage them and invite them to more readily match the frequency that you're giving off, at which point they will create for themselves the same vibration in their reality. That is what you can do for them, is give them the option by immersing them in the vibration you believe would be of help to them. It's still always up to them to more closely match that frequency in order to experience any kind of an effect. You cannot manifest for them. You can only encourage them to manifest for themselves by matching the frequency that you are gifting to them.
And you have said that physical reality is like a mirror. What's the difference between looking into a mirror in our homes, like, our bathroom mirror, and seeing our face in it, than looking into the mirror of physical reality, like looking into our yard?
Again, the idea is that the reflection from physical reality is not a one-to-one reflection. The idea is that it gives you insight into the different meanings that the symbol being reflected to you in physical reality may hold for you. It may give you opportunities to interact with other beings through the manifestations you are creating to represent them, the so-called avatars you are creating to represent them, as being a reflection of why they look the way they do to you, because it is your creation, even though they exist on their own. So the idea of the physical mirror is that you get to engage with yourself more directly on a one-to-one basis. But the idea of physical reality is that you get to be reflected by all the symbols and all the meanings that you are putting out into reality and are being reflected back to you in the way that serves you as reflections that put you in touch with why you are giving off what you are giving off and attracting what you are attracting as a reflection, to put you in touch with the themes that you're exploring and the ability to grow and change by interacting with those different angles, those different perspectives, those different representations of those themes.
Very interesting. This person is talking about parallel realities and wanting to know if they coexist in the same place at the same time.
Of course, that's what makes them parallel realities. Everything exists here and now. Everything. There is nothing that doesn't exist here and now. Look at it this way. Even the concepts of space and time are evidence of parallel realities. Because if you understand that everything is one thing, space being reduced to its simplest form is a dimensionless point. Time being reduced to its simplest form is a timeless moment. Being that everything exists in a timeless moment and a dimensionless point, then everything you consider to be a different thing, even a different moment, even a different location, has to be a different perspective of the same here-now space-time. And therefore you create this illusion of dimensional space, this illusion of time spreading out and change. So even the existence of your experience of space and time are evidence of the existence of parallel realities, which all coincide exactly in the same timeless moment and dimensionless point.
Thank you. You mentioned we will always get what we need, but not what we want. But you also said we can shift to the reality we prefer. Is there any difference between what we prefer and what we want?
It can be. Preference is the idea of a state, a general state of being, a frequency that is more in alignment with who you truly are, your core vibration. Wants can be wildly different. They can be the product of negative ego. They can be the product of fear. So the idea is that preference is more a reference to the idea of the general state of being in which you would receive automatically and synchronistically what it is that you truly need, which would allow you to experience a life full of joy. Whereas a want, though sometimes can coincide with the idea of a need or a preference, doesn't always do so because of the compartmentalization of your psyche structure, your ego structure, that can allow you to have a want that isn't necessarily what you need and can be wildly out of alignment with what you really actually vibrationally prefer to experience in life.
And since we are the creator, is it true that the story of the writer exists in some other reality?
This is very funny to us, this question, because to us there is no difference between the creator and the writer. The creator is the writer. The writer is the creator. A difference is being made here where there really is no difference.
Okay. Let's see. This one is, this person is asking, they sometimes question whether the knowing sense of creating distance from a person is based on a belief rooted in fear. This is due to a belief that they should live in harmony with everyone. Understanding there are no shoulds, how can I resolve my decision to distance myself physically from someone when synchronicity seems to bring us back together again? Is this just a reflection giving me the opportunity to be sure that the decision I am making is the right one for me?
It could be. You have to be honest within your own self-investigation to know if that's exactly what's happening. But in terms of the idea of harmony, remember that love, unconditional love, is harmony. And sometimes demonstrating, as we have often said, the consequence of someone's choice to them by distancing yourself physically from them in a relationship can actually be the most loving thing to do, because you're showing them the consequence of the choices that they're making, relevant to the idea of the choices that you're making. So yes, you have to pay attention to whether you're synchronistically being brought back into the relationship for a variety of reasons that you're not paying attention to within yourself that need looking at, or whether you are there to assist the other person to make the changes they need to make, or whether you are refusing to let go of the idea, and where walking away would actually be not only to your benefit but to their benefit by demonstrating to them the consequences of the choices they are making, thus giving them the loving opportunity to change, not that they have to, but at least giving them the option. So in your own honest self-investigation, you have to decide which of these things may be happening at any given moment, and it actually could be a number of different things, or a combination of these different things at different times. So you have to be very honest about why what's happening is happening, and what you may be getting out of it, and what you may be being of service in giving to them by being either in proximity or not in proximity physically to them. Take it a case at a time, a moment at a time.
This person is saying that they've been doing transformative shifting exercise that you created for the precisely 80 days nonstop. One of the biggest challenges they're finding is that several negative beliefs about their self-value and worthiness is coming up, and they don't know how to fully love themselves under the circumstances. Is there any hint?
Let's go back to the motivational mechanism. This is the purest form of understanding why you choose to do what you choose to do, why you choose to believe what you choose to believe, why you hold on to things the way you hold on to them. Experiencing the idea of feeling unworthy of self-love means that you have attached to the motivational mechanism a belief that says loving yourself unconditionally carries with it somehow effects that you don't prefer, that you believe are more negative than what you're experiencing by continuing to experience a lack of self-love. So you have to really dig deep in your honest self-investigation on your motivational mechanism as why you would hold on to something that says you're not enjoying it, you're not enjoying not loving yourself, and yet you consistently keep doing so. So you have to have a belief that says you're getting something out of continuing that path rather than letting go and going in the alternate way. You have to find out what you believe would be so bad about loving yourself that you refuse to do it. So you have to examine your definitions, what you've been taught in life, what you've been brought up with, and really reach that kernel, that core belief that says, refuse to love yourself because the alternative is worse. You have to find out why you would believe the alternative, that loving yourself would be worse than not loving yourself. Is not loving yourself safer? Less alienating to people? Making you more like everyone else so you don't have to feel too different? You require yourself to examine all these different and other possibilities of why you would hold on to something you don't prefer, because you would not be holding on to it if you didn't think the alternative would be worse. Always go back to the motivational mechanism of why you believe what you believe or why you're experiencing what you're experiencing, because it always has to do with what you believe to be true and why you would believe that doing something different would be worse than what you're doing now, as painful as it may be.
And up. But in all honesty, I'm not really sure that I understand what those frequencies feel like. You know, when I wake up in the morning, what frequency am I at? I couldn't tell you. Or when I walk my dog, what frequency am I at? I wouldn't know, and nor do I understand what frequency my preferences are at. So I feel like I'm swimming in the deep end of an ocean on this issue. I wonder if you might be able to shed some light on this in an everyday sort of way and give me some clarity. Thank you very much. I think you're terrific.
The frequencies we give when we're talking about frequencies in the thousands, not just hundreds, but in the thousands, 333,000 as a frequency, times per second. These are frequencies your scientists don't take into account yet. This is the total frequency of your physical form in combination with your higher mind that represents the state of being you are at this point in your life, and based on the state of being you shift to in any endeavor you may undergo. As a scale, you could say that most people on your planet at this point are sort of operating somewhere around an average of about 50,000 cycles per second. But the idea is raising your frequency when following your passion can take you above 100 and even close to 200,000 cycles per second, which represents a more realized, a more fully realized version of yourself that is capable of experiencing creativity and joy and actions that are more representative of the things that are passionate in your life: excitement, curiosity, creativity, love. So the higher the frequency between the idea of 50,000 and 200,000 is going toward the range of the fourth density human to experience physical reality from a higher level, where there's more experience of synchronicity, creativity, love, so on and so forth. Above 333,000 cycles per second, when we're talking about this kind of frequency, that's the borderline between physical and non-physical reality. But again, this is a combined collective frequency between the physical being, all the belief systems, the higher mind, the theme you explore, and all this that your science really doesn't understand yet. This frequency can be discovered in the electromagnetic auric field around your physical body if you develop devices that are sensitive enough to read it. And then you can begin to understand exactly what we're referring to when we talk about these kinds of frequencies. For the most part, however, as we said, the majority of your planet is operating at a relatively low frequency, although sometimes there can be peaks up to 80,000 cycles per second. But you now have a general idea of the range of what this represents. Good day, good day.
Hello, Bashar. So excited to see you.
We are excited to interact with you as well. What would you like to discuss with us today?
Yeah, I have a few questions. First of all, I want to know what are my stars' connections? Like, who are they? Can you tell me?
Most people on your planet will have extraterrestrial connections with Sirius energy, Arcturus energy, Pleiadian energy, Orion energy, and a few other things. This is quite typical for all of you because there are many different stories from different star systems being played out on Earth at this time. And therefore, many of you will have these kinds of connections in order to help the themes of exploration and play out these stories so that you can decide exactly how to move forward with them and bring them to a conclusion you may prefer. Of course, most of you also have connections to the gray beings, so on and so forth, and the mantis beings, and what are called the tall whites or Nordics, and many other beings we are not really allowed to discuss at this time. But most of you have the connections that we have said.
Okay, great. Okay, my second question is, recent years, there are a few times that I had a vision and dreams about some humongous giant white whale. They're
Giant
flying
white
in the
what?
sky. Whale, like
Whale?
whale,
Whale.
WHALE. Yeah,
All
sorry
right.
for my pronunciation.
That is all right.
They're extremely like large creature. In that dream, I was like talking to them.
Yes.
That dream is pretty vivid, so I kind of can, while they're talking, I kind of can feel the vibration from them. And I also, in that
Yes.
dream, I was some type of shape-shifting creature myself. So I was wondering, like, who are they? Like,
You are communicating through your Sirius connection to an oversoul.
Wow. So
The shape-shifting aspect for you is simply an indication that you are constantly shifting to different versions of yourself through different parallel realities. And in that state, in the spirit that you were in, the state of spirit, non-physical reality, you can take on any shape. And in communicating with the oversoul, you were sort of starting to identify with that resonance of a larger point of view.
Wow. That sounds so exciting.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you. My third question is also one of my experiences. I think in the end of 2016, one day I was doing a meditation myself. I started to see a dark brown energy circle spinning in front of me, and I started to hear voices.
Yes.
It sounds like many individuals chanting together.
Yes.
But I don't understand those languages.
All right. The idea is sometimes when you can get into certain meditative states, especially now that you're exploring an expansion of consciousness, you may allow yourself to connect into portals between different parallel realities or different parallel, shall we say, versions of you in different cultures, different languages, to allow yourself to tap into that collective to amplify and magnify your ability to also get into that altered state.
Wow.
So you're doing it kind of as a group instead of just as an individual, relying on others in parallel realities going through the same experience and tapping into that energy to make it easier for you and each of them to do it in their own realities as individuals.
Wow, that's so interesting. So basically, I just communicating with myself.
No, it's not yourself. It's other versions. They're not you, but they are other versions that might be similar in parallel realities. Yes, you on a higher level because everything is one thing, but you were talking as an individual person. So if you're talking about the idea of being on a much higher level, yes, you can say you were communicating with yourself because everything is an expression of one thing, but you were talking as a physical individual, and so we framed it that way.
Yeah, understood. My last question is, can you talk about Bermuda Triangle?
Yes, it's a portal, it's a fluctuating natural portal into other dimensions. It fluctuates randomly, and therefore sometimes people get caught in it, and sometimes people don't.
Wow, Does it mean originally Earth is a type of station where there's a lot of interdimensional portal open up here?
Yes, as is true with any planet.
Okay, got it.
There are interdimensional portals
Thank you.
all over your planet. You will ultimately learn them. You will be able to map them. You will know how they work ultimately. You are some people on your planet beginning to explore these things.
Wow.
Does that help?
End of my question. Yes. Thank
All
you
right.
so much. I'm so great to see you. Thank you.
It is our passion and our pleasure to communicate with you as well. Good day.
Good day.
Greetings, Bashar. Greeting, everybody. I have a brief question on the Sasan Empire in the Middle East. At the start of the book, Masters of Limitation, you describe how a member of your society made contact with a member of our society in the Middle Eastern region back then and formed a relationship with those entities and individuals. I would love to learn more about the relationship, the nature of the relationship, the intention behind the individuals that made contact from your society, and any other information that you feel would be relevant for us to learn about at this time. Because, of course, we're all aware of all the acceleration towards open contact with all of the UFO news and everybody becoming more aware and awake around that topic. So anything that you feel would be relevant for us to know now, I would be much appreciated. Thank you. Have a wonderful day and sending lots of love.
The only thing at this time that we are allowed to share with you about that particular situation is that there were certain protocols that were given that would help to establish the beginnings of the protocols of contact in, from that point of view, the future, which is what's happening now. So the idea is that being forms an anchor point at a certain place and at a certain time in your planet's history. That is the planting of the seed of open contact that would occur in that reality's future, which is what's happening now.
Hello, Bashar.
Good day. Good day.
Hello, I'm Susie from Israel. I'm very happy to see you.
All right.
And
Thank you for the co-creation.
Thank you about this opportunity. Bashar, I have a few questions, please.
Yes.
Can I change my instinct? My instinct, not my behavior, not my pattern. My instinct. For example,
Yes.
For example, I speak with someone and he tell me something, and my face is changed. My face, not, I don't react. My face change. So can I change my instinct?
I am not sure that you are using the correct word or definition here. We are not sure that there is a translation for what you are saying about changing your instinct. Can you be more specific?
My core belief, my core deep belief, not my behavior, not my pattern.
Yes, you can change a core belief, but if you change a core belief, your behavior and your patterns will also change.
Yes, but how I change this instinct, this...
What you're describing as an instinct is simply the result of something you believe in.
Okay.
Now, there are instincts that are connected to the physical body that are somewhat automatic, but they still can take their cue from your belief system. So again, the idea of changing your instinct or your reaction or response to something, if that's what you're actually talking about, will change if you change your core belief. The fundamental instincts that are automatic won't change because those are the ones you need to allow you to thrive in physical reality, and they're just running on automatic, so you don't have to think about them. But what you're referring to as something from your core belief will change your response or reaction to things, if that's what you mean by instinct. But we're not clear that that's what you mean.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes.
I have a dream. I be happy if I want to hear your point of view. Lately, I have a dream that I saw my children, my hybrid children, and I play with them, and they
Yes.
laugh, and I
Yes.
laugh too. And there is another children, and I pick him up, and is vomit. And in instinct, I vomit after him. And there is some entities who come and check this fluid, this vomit.
Yes.
And one of the entities say to another, I don't see nothing.
Yes.
And so what is it? What happened there?
All right. Yes. All right. Understand that when you work with hybrid children, some of the hybrid children may be at different stages of understanding their relationship energetically to Earth humans. And sometimes you may run across momentary incompatibilities vibrationally that can cause a physical reaction or a purging in the system to allow the vibrations to clear out, to allow them to align to one another. After that happens, then it has been cleared out and there's nothing to see. You have already let go of all the things that are vibrationally incompatible with each other. So after that representation of letting go of those vibrational incompatibilities, then someone taking a look would say there's nothing to see. There's nothing to find, because now you have realigned, letting go of those things that were incompatible. Does that make sense? Do you understand?
Yes.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Bashar, 2 years ago, when I eat lunch, I eat toast avocado, and suddenly I feel that I don't have body. And I don't understand why I eat the toast avocado. It's like I'm gone.
Yes. Well, the vibration at that particular moment allowed you to transcend the physical reality to experience the absorption of the energy on an energetic level rather than a physical one. So you just simply allowed yourself to experience the idea of the inclusion of the energy represented by that food in a non-physical way. You got in touch with your non-physical self and the act of incorporating non-physical energy into yourself, but you were using the symbol of that particular food to do so.
Thank you very much. Bashar, I channeling Sunshine from Shayayel, and she gave it to me her family symbol, but I'm very curious about the symbol of Shayayel. Maybe it's triangle and another triangle inside, upside down.
As long as the triangle upside down is actually inside the triangle up, facing up, that is accurate enough. There's other things to it, but that's a good start.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
In October, I will be in Egypt with a group.
Oh, all right. Have a good time.
Thank you very much. It is possible and relevant to maybe to meet you or Yael.
If it is relevant, it will happen. So you don't have to ask for it.
Okay.
Just have a good time, follow your passion, be in the state of your true being. Whatever needs to happen will happen. Nothing will prevent it from happening. If it appears that nothing happens, look again. Something may have happened, but it may not be what you expected.
Oh, thank you.
So take the insistence and the expectation off of what you think is supposed to happen, and just be open to what does happen. It will be what needs to happen. All right?
Yes.
All right. Yes.
I feel very close to Sirius.
Yes.
But more and more I have dream about Sirius. Can you tell me this connection?
Well, as we have said, many people on your planet have connections to Sirius. It's a higher level consciousness that guides humanity to help them, to encourage them to move up the ladder, vibrationally speaking. They do the same with us. It's a very high guiding light. So many people on your planet use the Sirius vibration to make connections to other levels of consciousness and to be guided and encouraged in moving toward higher frequencies.
Thank you very much. Another more sharing, please. Couple months ago, I wake up in the night and I saw two grays, and it was open window like a portal. It was a water.
Yes.
They looked for me through this window, but there was in water place, and I was in my room.
Yes, well, of course, when they open a portal to another reality, you're going to see what's in that other reality, like looking through a window to another world.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Good day.
Thank you. Good day.
Referred to as, oh, you must have an unconscious belief or a subconscious belief that is hindering you in some way, in some negative way. And my understanding from what you said, I would believe more that that is coming from a conscious learned belief or habit or pattern that you've picked up along your physical trail. Could you please elaborate more on what is this statement? It's an unconscious belief, subconscious belief. Is it true that the unconscious mind and the subconscious mind could actually hold negative beliefs for us and affect us in our lives like that? Thank you.
What's the difference? The idea is that patterns and habits are the product of certain subconscious and unconscious beliefs, and therefore they can hold you back from being yourself as long as you continue to buy into them as being more true than the alternative. They form patterns and habits when you might have a fear-based belief that says, don't move forward, keep repeating this, keep going here, keep going there, keep doing this, keep doing that, that prevents you from moving forward. But those so-called patterns and habits are still the product of belief systems, fear-based beliefs, that you may be keeping in your subconscious or unconscious mind because the belief is convincing you not really to deal with them, not to look at them. Just keep repeating the safe things that you're familiar with instead of really moving forward. So yes, by asking that question, if I did move forward, what am I afraid might happen, can begin to reveal what those unconscious or subconscious fear-based beliefs are and give you the opportunity at least to have something to work with to help you move forward by letting them go when they make no more sense to you.
Good day, Bashar.
Good day.
I often, when I share a thought or advice, I tend to help people and help them to kind of shift from reality to reality, and they change. Yeah. So I was wondering if that's my mission, or how can I discover more about what I came here to do on Earth?
You follow your passion to the best you can with no insistence on the outcome. Remain in a positive state. Constantly examine your belief systems and let go of the ones that don't work for you. It's as simple as that. Your mission is to be yourself as fully as you can. That's everyone's purpose. How you do it is up to you. Your passion will guide you in that. And that's how you be of service and of best help to everyone. Don't put any pressure on yourself. Just be yourself.
Be myself.
Yes.
Cool.
It's that simple.
So I have this question about the different types of beings, and what is the difference between light beings and spirit guides, and what role do they have? And can we also receive messages from angels or archangels?
Of course, you can receive messages from any consciousness source whatsoever, depending upon the frequency that you happen to be at. So the idea is spirit guides can sometimes be considered light workers. It really doesn't matter in that sense what you label them to be. It's just a matter of what it is you identify with, what frequency you match, and what gives you the ability to download information that is constantly being sent to everyone. It's not a matter of asking for more information or more help. It's a matter of tuning yourself into the information and the help that is always already being sent by spirit guides, extraterrestrials, angels, what have you. It's a matter of you tapping in based on following your passion. Your passion will align your vibration to whatever it is you need at that moment.
And can anyone become a medium and talk to spirit?
No, not everyone has decided that that's the theme of their life, to express it that way. You all have the fundamental potential, but that doesn't mean that everyone will have chosen to express themselves that way. It may not be part of the theme of that person's life.
But if you have some curiosity about it, does that mean...
Then explore it. Then explore it.
Explore it.
Explore it. Follow your passion. Take it as far as you can. If it doesn't go the way you think, that's all right. It may not need to at this point. Sometimes your excitement comes in a particular form just because that's the form that will get you to take the action necessary that you need to take, so you'll wind up where you need to wind up to receive what it is you actually need to receive or do. So never assume that just because your excitement at any given moment comes in a particular way, that means that you have to actually wind up doing that thing. Right. That's why we say no assumption, no insistence, because you don't really know why it came to you that way. If it's going to wind up that you do the thing in the way that it came, well, then nothing's going to stop it as long as you keep following your passion and taking the action on the opportunities that are presented to you. So you don't even really have to worry about that. Just take it as far as you can, never assuming that it's going to wind up being that thing, never assuming that it's not going to wind up being that thing. Just see where it takes you, see where it leads. It will always lead you exactly where you need to be led in perfect timing to receive exactly what you need at that moment. These things work automatically when you understand how to use the formula.
Right. My wife and I went to Hawaii and visited the Haleakala crater.
Oh, all right.
And we did a meditation there, and I had a vision. I was wondering, what are the beings that I saw?
Well, can you describe them?
They were light beings coming out of a spaceship, and they walked to the native people there. I was like seeing kind of a vision, and then they had some kind of a medical device where they were able to scan the body of somebody and see through their bodies, and also
And what do these beings look like to you? Can you describe them?
I was not able to see their faces. It was all light.
Were they tall? Were they short? Were they thin? Were they fat?
I think they had long hands, and they're kind of tall.
All right. This is connected to some of the kinds of beings that have been interacting with indigenous cultures around the world for many thousands of years. We cannot go into too much information about them at this time, but you will learn more about them in your own explorations. But if you focus on the idea that indigenous cultures in different places on your planet have been interacting with these kinds of beings for a long time, you may give yourself more information about how to go forward with this understanding.
Sounds good.
All right. Anything else?
Yeah, I was wondering that if there are like simple things we can do to protect Mother Earth. Like, can you mention like 3 things we can do today, simple, to help Mother Earth?
I think this is something you already understand. Do you not understand how to allow yourself to regenerate nature? How to explore alternative technologies that do not negatively impact your environment? Do you not understand these things?
Yeah, I understand. I was I was wondering if there's like something we can do that has more impact than other things.
It's the taking of the action that has the most impact you can possibly have, no matter what it is, as long as in the direction that you're talking about. It's the taking of any action in that direction that has the most impact, because most people talk about it but don't act on it.
Right.
So take action in whatever you're able to take action on that you deem to be representative, not so much of protection, but of healing, regeneration. Yes. Because remember, in a sense, it's not so much that you're saving the planet. The planet doesn't need saving. The idea is that you're saving the things that live on the planet.
On the planet, yeah.
Because even if everything is destroyed, the planet will regenerate without you, unless it is completely obliterated. And then even then, the molecules and atoms will reform somewhere else into a different place. So the idea is to simply take whatever action you are excited to take that is representative of healing, regeneration, and connections to nature in a more natural way. And that will have the impact it needs to have. Because remember, you already have all the impact you will ever have. By taking the action, you're not creating impact, you're revealing the impact you already have. So reveal yourself by taking those actions.
Thank you, Bashar.
You are welcome. Will that help?
Yes.
All right. Have a good day.
Have a good day.
Ha'atu, Bashar.
Ha'atu. Good day.
I am so grateful to be interacting with you today.
Our deep appreciation to you for the co-creation of the interaction. What would you like to discuss?
So over the last couple of years, I've been remembering more and more contact dreams that I've had throughout my life.
All right.
And, well, remembering isn't really the right way to put it because I never really forgot them. It's more that I'm just now realizing that's what they were.
All right.
And I've noticed some patterns. For example, one of the things that keeps happening is that I'm on a craft and then it starts to go up and I feel this intense pressure in my head.
Yes.
And it's so strong that sometimes it kind of freaks me out and it makes me want to wake myself up.
All right. Well, it's not uncommon for you to not necessarily be completely used to the idea of being shifted to other dimensions that have a very different frequency than your own. It's something that takes practice, and you can ultimately get used to it and let go of the, shall we say, physical body's innate and ingrained protective mechanisms that allow it to think that it has to go into survival mode when in fact everything will be just fine. So it may take some practice and it may take some time, but you can get used to it if you understand that the only thing that's happening is you're being shifted, and that you can always have the opportunity to go back to the frequency that allows your physical body to know that it's just fine.
Okay. And so it's kind of strange because my physical body is asleep in bed, right? It's only my energy body that's going up, or am I actually going up physically?
But you're still connected to physical reality, and therefore there is still a physical reaction in the body to what you're experiencing energetically. And that's what is coloring your experience. It's like having an anchor on the ocean floor that doesn't necessarily allow your ship to sail away as far as it could.
Okay, that makes sense. And any suggestions as to how I might get used to that? Or
up anchor.
Okay. My second question is, so at night I see these swirling ribbons of green light that are floating around my room. Yeah. And I remember when I first started seeing them, I was about 12. And it was kind of strange because it just happened out of nowhere, quote unquote. And recently,
popping out of somewhere, but go ahead.
So recently, these swirls, these ribbons of light that looked like mini aurora borealises, they're starting to take shapes, kind of like silhouettes.
Yes.
And sometimes they are sending green energy right at me. And I'm wondering what they are or who they are.
You are starting to allow your senses to penetrate into higher dimensions where other forms of consciousness exist. You are penetrating into the natural world of the elementals and therefore beginning to actually see them as they're capable of taking shapes. This is what began the legends and the lores of interacting with things like fairies and elves. So you're beginning to penetrate into the natural world of the elementals and allowing them to share their energy with you so that you can develop a stronger relationship to the natural world and to the elementals that inhabit it.
Okay. And related to this green energy, a few months ago, I had a couple of dozen beings that I think were hybrids kind of pop in and out of my bedroom. And they're also glowing with this exact same color energy.
Yes. Well, again, it's the method that you're affording them. It's the route that you're affording them because you are getting used to the idea of that particular vibrational energy of nature. You're allowing them to speak to you through it, and therefore they will take on that coloring aspect as they're using your preferred method to communicate with you.
Okay. And any specific significance for the color green? Is it heart?
It's heart energy, yes. And nature energy.
Okay. So my third question, I have met 3 individuals over the last year, all of whom feel very familiar to me.
Yes.
And even though I don't think they know each other, to me, it almost feels like they form some kind of a triad.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Many times you will meet different individuals who have made some form of agreement with you to reflect certain things to you. They could be counterparts from the same oversoul or not. But the agreement simply is that they're helping trigger certain realizations within you.
Okay. And one of the 3, my friend AJ and I are both wondering what our relationship looks like on a higher level.
Well, that's a broad question. What do you mean, what it looks like?
I'm just curious as to, how we are connected.
Are you asking if you're part of the same soul family? The answer is yes.
Okay. Alrighty.
Will that do?
Yes, thank you very much.
You are very welcome. Aveo.
Aveo.
Ruminating and worrying about things that they can't control.
What I have just said to the other person will also work for this person. They need to meditate and focus on the idea of the beliefs they have attached to the motivational mechanism within them and ask themselves the honest question and revealing question, what am I getting out of these ruminations? How is it serving me? What am I afraid to let go of that I think would be worse if I did? They have to really focus on the idea that they're continually choosing to ruminate on these things to prevent themselves from going in a different way, a different direction that they have a belief says it would be worse than where they are, as stuck as they may feel. So they have to have a little bit more honesty and deep investigation within themselves and admit that they're choosing to ruminate on these things to prevent them from going in a different direction, to be aware of other things within them that they may be afraid to face. They have to strip themselves away and really look at the core being that they are and why they are holding on to these things, repeating them over and over again, and what they're getting out of doing so and what it prevents them from realizing.
And that idea of rumination, for some people, I think that it's not as strong a compulsion in certain circumstances, but then in other ones, it can be almost like their mind is taking over and they can't stop the rumination. Is that also addressed in what you just said? Or
Yes. Because again, you have to take the responsibility that you, for some of your own reasons, are choosing to ruminate on something. Why? What are you getting out of it? What are you learning from it? Anything at all? So the idea is to understand what rumination prevents you from looking at that you're too afraid to look at on a deeper level within your belief system.
And following up on that, for many people, when they're first learning about your information, they find that they have been, in a sense, programmed to talk to themselves a certain way, to create anxiety, to feel like their mind has more power than they do in terms of what they think about these ideas. Can you help us understand what is the mechanism or what happens in childhood that creates that kind of relationship with the conscious mind, and that what your information does to allow the person to let go of feeling controlled, in a sense, by their negative ego?
I'm going to be somewhat poetic about this. The idea that you're calling programming is what we might refer to poetically as the darkening of the mirror. Their own mirror has been shadowed, so they are not really fully willing to look at their own reflection because they are afraid of what they will find in the mirror, being told that the reflection will be representative of their lack of worthiness. So the idea is that their mirror, their internal mirror, has been shadowed to the point where they will be afraid to look at it, to look in it, to really see the true reflection of unconditional love that is pouring back from all that is through the mirror to them. They need to either shatter that mirror and get a new one, or clean that mirror to see the true, childlike, beautiful spark of existence and reflection of all that is that they are, and really let go of all the things that have been told to them, the stories that have clouded the mirror, darkened the mirror, shadowed the mirror. So they need a clean rag of forgiveness, of understanding, and self-love to keep wiping that mirror until they see the beautiful light that is the childlike reflection of all that is that each and every one of you are. So I'm going to be poetic about this because maybe that will help as a permission slip to help them clean up the idea of the so-called definition of programming, which is nothing more than being convinced that you aren't worthy to see your reflection because you're afraid of what that reflection will show you. When all it really can show you, if you clean the mirror, is your true spark of light, your true self as a reflection of all that is.
That is lovely.
Yes.
And along those lines, some tips are requested for letting go of painful memories that maybe trigger PTSD or those kinds of ideas.
I have just given you the tip.
Okay. Can a focus on releasing beliefs that are general in scope allow us to indirectly release specific beliefs? Or is it necessary to focus on releasing specific trauma?
Letting go of general beliefs can encourage you to practice letting go of more specific ones. It depends upon the themes of exploration, the person involved, the personality construct, as to whether or not absolute specificity is required in all cases. In most cases, it may be representative of a theme you do need to investigate and explore. But letting go of more general things you believe you can handle to let go of can encourage you and give you the practice you need to let go of more specific things more easily.
Okay. And then this person is saying that they keep sabotaging their own success with procrastination and pessimistic doubt. Can you speak on the idea of procrastination and pessimistic doubt about one's own ability to be successful?
Everything we have recently just said about the motivational mechanism and the darkening of the mirror applies to this particular situation as well.
Okay. And procrastination, is that just anxiety, or are there many different reasons why people procrastinate?
Of course there are. Again, fundamentally, it has to do with feeling unworthy or not deserving or unable or ill-prepared or many of these kinds of belief systems about the self, procrastination is a choice to not move forward. And whatever reasons a person may give themselves for staying where they are can easily be found with, again, a thorough investigation of their beliefs, of what they are afraid will happen if they do move forward. So the idea is, whatever it is they believe is necessary to allow them to move forward, either a complete restructuring of the idea of how they should move forward. This is why imagination is also a form of abundance, because they may come up with a different path than they thought they had to take that can remove the procrastination. Sometimes just a simple assumption of how you think you're supposed to do something, once removed, will allow you to move forward with great speed, because now it's no longer necessary to go down the path you thought you had to go down or should go down because of your training and so on and so forth. So a clear examination of the belief systems of what is truly necessary to move forward can also remove these ideas of impediments that you impose upon yourself that you're calling procrastination.
Okay. And this person would like to learn to channel the spirit world the way that Darryl channels you. And they're saying they have the ability, they know we all have the ability for metaphysical communication, but what is the best way to expand your, ultimately, the question is, how do you expand your communication with your higher mind, which is in its own way channeling the spirit world? Is that correct?
Yes, yes. As we have said before, the idea is have the intent to be of service, to not worry about what comes through at first, to gain practice, and have people surround you with questions who really, really wish to know the answers so that they can pull the information through you, like the idea of water seeking its own level or electricity seeking a ground in the people asking the questions. Then you can get your mind out of the way and not worry about what it is you're saying, what it is you don't say, how silly it sounds, how silly you look. Being right all the time or accurate all the time. You need practice. You need to let go and open up and let the people pull the information through you from the higher levels without you worrying about any of those things that most people on your planet are concerned about in terms of what other people think about what they're doing. That's one of the best ways to practice. Have people ask you questions and not care what does or doesn't come through or how it comes through. Just see what happens. You can always give the caveat and the so-called disclaimer, as you say, up front that, look, I don't know exactly what's going to happen here. Something may come through, something may not come through. Something may sound completely ridiculous. Something may feel accurate and turn out later not to be accurate in your estimation. It doesn't matter right now. I am doing this to gain more sensitivity and more awareness of how to connect to the idea of my own higher mind, and I appreciate deeply the opportunity to do so by you asking questions. You're giving me a chance to perform and practice, and that's all that's necessary right now to understand. And with that out of the way, then you can feel free to bring through whatever comes through, as long as you understand that you're doing it for the purpose of being of best service to those who are asking the question. And that's all there is to it. That's your intent.
Transmission, we would like to share with you the impact, the results, the effects of the change you have made in your energy shift recently, so that you may understand how you have altered the course of your own history in the future, not only with regard to the idea of open contact, but also how you can, through some very specific, simple actions, allow yourself to chart a course more clearly in the direction of the version of Earth that you prefer as you pass through this transition period over the next couple of your months into a new reality as well as a new year. So let us begin by first and foremost informing you that there will be now, in the new year, more opportunities for individuals to perceive, to experience what you typically refer to as UFO sightings, as a reflection of the shift, of the change you have now created. We understand that there may still be many processes to go through in harmonizing, settling down, getting used to the new direction, the new energy, and that's fine. And that may take a little while, but that's okay, because it's not going to stop anything from moving forward. And one of the things that is now far more probable is the idea of open contact with your world and many other extraterrestrial civilizations. One of the things we have spoken of before is the window of contact and the timing thereof, which in general was the years of 2025 to 2033 or 2040, depending on factors that have yet to fall into place. However, now, with this new shift, this new change, this new direction of energy, new vibration, new frequency coming into play in this transition period over the next few of your months and years, our perception as the energy exists right now is that you have brought that beginning of the window back toward you to the year 2023. So you have accelerated the probability that the window of contact may happen a little bit sooner, and also created 2023 to be a new focal point for the opportunity of a few different things. Number one, you may find that there is a high degree of probability in 2023 that you will, as we have said before, discover that life is possible on other planets. And again, it may be simple life. But the idea is that, again, once you discover, once you know for a fact that life can exist on other worlds, even worlds simply in your own solar system, that will change the mindset of the people of your planet to be far more open to the idea that intelligent life and advanced technological life may exist elsewhere. You are rapidly approaching that realization, that understanding, and will soon, either slightly before or in the year 2023, most likely, most probably make that discovery as we read the energy now. Also, you may find that now that your year of 2023 is a new focal point, a new lens, gathering frequencies and information and energy to itself to amplify and magnify them, that there may be more profound, more recognizable UFO sightings in that year that may be a signal of things to come and how they are accelerating toward open contact. So watch the skies between now and then, but primarily in your year of 2023, pay attention to all ideas that have to do with the probability of life outside of your world. Now, we are also going to share with you a gift in this season of giving that will allow you to perform, if you're willing, 3 very simple acts that can have a profound effect on accelerating you into this new reality. These are fun, they're very simple, easy to do, and if you are open and willing to participate, which is up to you, you may find that you can magnify and amplify the synchronicity in your life in a variety of ways, on a variety of subjects, and a variety of experiences more than ever before as you pass through this transition time into your new year and your new reality. Riding the wave of this new energy, this shift that you have now created.